Chapter 5. Tamales, Tomatoes, a Warm Top 2. The girls raced to Cora's house. Cora's father had his famous guacamole waiting for them. It had chunks of avocado with little pieces of tomato and red onions and cilantro, and there was a crisp tortilla chips to go with it. Then came tamales made by Cora's grandma. These were little packets of soft corn dough filled with chicken. Cora's mother poured each girl a cold rice drink. It was milky looking and tasted of lime and cinnamon. This is called horchata, Cora said. The girls ate and drank, and they talked about the beautiful flowers and all their needs. Cora's mother listened in. The girls asked, "The flowers asked you for worms? Those flowers have been asleep a long time," Cora's mother said with a laugh. "They don't just need worms, they need worm composting. The girls can help with that." "Worm what?" Campbell asked. "Worm composting," repeated Cora's mom. "It's a really neat way to make good soil for the garden. It's also a great way to recycle. You know how we put all our bottles and cans and newspapers in these special bins, right? That's recycling. Well, worms recycle too. They recycle food scraps by eating them up. In fact, feeding worms food scraps, this is the easiest way to cycle what I can think of." All three girls looked at Cora's mom. They wanted to know more. "But Mom," said Cora, "when we recycle bottles and cans and newspapers, a big truck stops by and collects them. Is someone going to collect our worms?" "No, sweetie. You keep your worms. Worms eat up food scraps and turn worms castings. That's a polite word for worm poop. That's poop and very good for gardens. How come we never heard of any of this before?" Cora asked. "Well, good garden tips are sometimes hard to come by," Cora's mother replied. "But you ladies named Mary did her best to teach people about worm composting. In fact, she is probably as famous for worms composting as Daisy Gordon Low is for Girl Scouts. People called her Worm Woman. She lived in Michigan. I can show you girls how to make a worm composting box," Cora's mother added. "You can keep it in the kitchen, and then every week you can take fresh compost to the garden." "I don't know," said Chandra, looking glum. I don't think my mom would let me keep worm poop in our kitchen. That sounds yucky." "Well, the worms stay straight in their box. It's all very neat and clean. But as long as the weather's mild, you can keep the box in your backyard, or in the garden, or in the basement." "Still," Chandra said, "wouldn't it be more funny to grow ladybugs? They're so pretty." "Gardens are about choices, Chandra," Cora's mother said. "Every gardener chooses what she wants to grow." "Basil," said Campbell. "That's what I want to grow for Jerry and Rosie. That's what want to have some good smells in the garden. Basil's perfect for them," Cora's mother said. "And maybe, since you love tomatoes, you'll plant those too. I can give you seeds and some beautiful heirloom tomatoes from Mexico." "Heirloom?" asked Chandra. "What's an heirloom? A loom that floats in the air?" "No, silly. Heirloom," said Campbell. "That means old and special. I learned that from my grandma. She's always talking to me about heirlooms, but not tomatoes. She talks about heirloom jewelry. She says she's going to give me her heirloom charm bracelet when I turn 8 next year." "That must be a beautiful bracelet," Cora's mom said. "The heirloom tomatoes are beautiful too, and delicious." "What about the honeybees?" said Cora. "Clover wants her bee friend, Honey, to have some more bees to play with." "Honeybees? That's a tough one," said Cora's mom. "Bees aren't doing so well this year, but I know that the beekeeper's in town. Maybe you could visit a beekeeper and get some advice." Suddenly, Cora remembered the note that Daisy Gordon Low. "Chandra shows her mom the note," she said. Chandra pulled the rusty tin box from her backpack. She opened the box and took out the yellow folded note. She carefully unfolded the paper and handed it to Cora's mother. Cora's mom sat down at the kitchen table and read the note. Then she looked up at the girls. "This is a wonderful note. That Daisy had very smart. Maybe you could write a note too, to future Girl Scout daisies. What would you want to tell them?" "We have no idea," Cora, Chandra, and Campbell cried out all at once. "Well, think about it. I'm sure the right message will come to you. Let's ask Tamako," said Cora. "She's a very good giving advice. She's almost 9 years old." "Oh, Cora, I almost forgot," Cora's mother said. "She called this morning while you were at the garden. I told her to stop by around 1 o'clock, which is..." Cora's mother looked at the big yellow kitchen clock. "Right about now." Just then the doorbell rang. It was Tamako, a third grader from down the street. She held a tray of beautiful little Japanese rice cakes. Some were pink, some were green, some were white. She said hello to everyone and then sat down the tray of cakes. "My mother sent these over from all of you to try," Tamako said. "Delicious," said Cora's mom. These are good," said Campbell. "Maybe when we finish helping the flowers, we could celebrate with a garden party. We could serve these cakes with tea. Garden parties are supposed to have tea, right?" "What a great idea," said Cora. "We could start with guacamole, with a little tomato and basil sandwiches. Maybe we rolled up like a pinwheel so they get nice and pretty," said Chandra. "And we could have mint tea and these pretty cakes." "Now that sounds like a perfect party," Tamako said, and everyone agreed.